Hi there, I'm Martha Van Dam, and this is Living Beyond. Is it just me, or does it seem like whenever there's a problem to deal with, there's all of a sudden multiple problems to deal with? It's not just the child, it's the child and your mother. It's not just the child and your mother, it's the child and your mother and your finances. And then there's an issue with the health, and the dog needs to go to the vet, right? It's just one thing after another so often, and it can be so exhausting. I have something for you today about that. And I'm leaning into the letter that went out, the newsletter that went out to my people this month. And one of the things I said in there, and I'm saying to you, when we have these things that are going on in our life, it is so vitally important that instead of chasing this problem and that problem and staying completely absorbed and underwater with all of those issues, it is so important that we find ways to create time to give our brains, our minds, our bodies, our hearts, our souls a little bit of rest. And what I've suggested in my newsletter, and I'd love it if you guys would jump on board with this as well, is for us to make a pact together to spend 24 minutes a day, 24 in 24. In fact, we're saying 24 in 424 since this is April when we're starting this, but 24 minutes a day of sitting outside. I don't care what you do when you're sitting outside. I don't care if you sit here and close your eyes. I don't care if you sit with your journal and you write. I don't care if you just sit and do nothing but look around. But what I care about is that you do come outside. We know, research shows that when people spend time outside, and it genuinely does not take that much time, maybe between 15 and 30 minutes a day, but just a little bit of time outside. There's something about being out here and feeling the freshness of the air, the nature itself, hearing the birds, feeling the breeze, seeing the greenness of the plants beginning to grow in the new season, that does lift our spirits. I am not saying, do not hear me say that your problems will all go away. But what I am saying is that it adds an ingredient in your life and mine, in your heart, soul, and mind and mine. It adds this ingredient of helping us to be able to settle just a little bit. And when we can settle a little bit, we can start making sense of all of those multiple problems that we have or issues that we have to face. And the one thing I will say when you're sitting outside is you might want to ask yourself, okay, of all the things I've got going on, clearly I cannot attack them all at one time. Our minds cannot solve 7 problems at once. We're just not wired that way. But when we're sitting outside and we're giving our mind a bit of margin, then we can ask ourselves, okay, what is one thing I can focus on? Just one, to make a little bit of progress on. You might be amazed at how much better you feel when you believe and you sense and you feel as though you have one thing to do that's going to help with one of those issues. Even when you've got 7 of them hanging over your head, knowing that you have a little bit of issue, a little bit of a plan for one issue can begin to crumble some of that sense of overwhelm and that sense of anxiety that may hang over, or even depression that you may have because of all these issues that are hanging on. And I want to throw one more thing out at you. As a licensed therapist, what I will tell you is that when a client comes into my office and they may have 7 things going on that are very difficult for them, what I am going to do if I'm listening to them is I'm going to start pulling apart those different issues in our conversation. I'm going to start making notes, and I'm going to start having little sections in my paper where I have this note and that note pertaining to the different issues. I myself am going to start separating their problems. And that's kind of what I'm asking you to do. Sit outside, think about what is pressing the most. Take a few deep breaths, and then just ask yourself, what is one thing, just one thing I can do that can make a little bit of difference on that one thing? You may have trouble picking which one you're going to think about, which issue you're going to think about, and here's what may surprise you. It doesn't matter which one you pick. I mean, unless the house is burning down and you need to call the fire department, that's a right now thing. An awful lot of the times, it really doesn't matter at all which one you pick. It just matters that you pick one. Because what you need to feel is a sense of movement. So if you pick one, and in that one issue, you pick one thing that you can do, even before you do it, you will begin to feel better with a little sense, because you'll have a little sense of direction. And then when you do go in and do it, you will feel better because you will have a sense of movement, a movement in a positive direction. So, you do that today. Sit outside. I am enjoying the breeze. I am so glad for this perfect time of year when it's not so hot and I can sit out here and enjoy nature. And I hope that you will too. And above all, I want you to remember this. No matter what you are facing today, no matter whether it's one thing or multiple things, you can live beyond anything and everything that life throws at you. Don't you forget it. Thanks and bye-bye.